Let's take you to Cape Town now. Well, it looks like Numsa's 11th National Congress has gotten off to a rocky start after its Western Cape members staged a walkout. Senior reporter Aisha Ishmael is in Cape Town with more on this story. Aisha, what is the latest coming out from there? Why did we see this walkout actually happening?
Well, Masego, it was very interesting because when the informal part of the program started this morning, it seemed very jovial and everybody was inside the conference. But once it got to the formal matters, there were certain objections raised, and these were objections raised by the Western Cape branch of Numsa. But I'm now joined by the regional secretary of Numsa here in the Western Cape. So you were telling me earlier, in fact, I saw you standing up and objecting to the conference going ahead, to the Congress going ahead. On what basis did you stage the walkout?
Aisha, everybody knows that this Congress had been interdicted. We went to the court to interdict this Congress and also to ensure that suspensions are lifted, and the court had declared that suspensions were invalid and unconstitutional and therefore unenforceable. Now, second part was that this Congress is interdicted until the Numsa complies with the Constitution fully, and that has not happened. And for us, knowing very well that now this is interdicted, we believe strongly that we are in contempt of court. Any action that moves with this Congress is in contempt of the court judgment. That's why we had to say, for us, we are not going to be part of this thing.
So we heard this morning that there are 93 members of Numsa present at this gathering today. So did all 93 members walk out?
A majority of our members, I would say more than 95%, 2 or 3 would have remained behind, because there have been always some comrades who have been camping in the Western Cape in order to divide this region. And we were suspended in order not to interface with our members, to clarify things. And they had advantage from head office to convene their meetings in our absence and convince those comrades that what they are doing is correct. Now, they would have left inside and not march with us. But in our numbers, our delegates marched out because they fully understand what is happening in this organization.
So what was the main reason for you and your other members being suspended?
I was suspended in the Western Cape just for presenting a regional office bearer's report to the regional congress on the 26th and 27th of February. And that report contains a report on the investment company of Numsa. And that report is not a good report because it exposes what we can see, that there are corrupt practices within the organization. While the Numsa Investment Company Group CEO has been refusing to give us audited financial statements, finally, when those statements were revealed through a court between a fight between 360 and Prudential Authority, it has been exposed that some of our comrades have benefited from the Numsa Investment Company. Actually, more than 20 million rand in 2018 have been given to Numsa as a sponsor. We never saw that, and we never received such a report as trustees. I'm a trust member. And in 2019, more than 13 million rand have been given to Numsa as a sponsor, and Numsa have got an account to receive sponsors. And that is benevolent fund. We never received a report from the National Treasurer that says in the benevolent fund there are these millions that are coming from the Numsa Investment Company. And I can count the list.
So let me just ask you also, I'm sorry to cut you there. On what basis will you return to this Congress? You're saying that this Congress is in contempt of court. Are you going to be lodging or charging this conference or organization with contempt of court?
Lawyers are busy with that process, because this morning the spokesperson of Numsa declared the union's defiance to the rule of the law, to the court judgment. And with that is a clear evidence that Numsa is going ahead with the Congress against the judgment. And lawyers are busy with that. They have given ultimatums on issues that needs to be done towards ensuring that a judge must now come in to see that, or in fact a court must come in and see that the organization is in contempt of the rule. And therefore, that's where we are. And we are not going to join this Congress until the union is in full compliance. For instance, Mpumalanga delegates are not here. They are not here because they could not go to a Congress, because their regional congresses 2 times have collapsed, and they are collapsing on credentials. And without a credentials committee to oversee that membership is not contested, delegation is not contested, has never been established. But, surprisingly, national office bearers had convened a special CC to do a quick fix on the credentials. And here you were asked, you have got 93 delegates, you have got this, you've got this, and we confirm. And they said, now this report is going to say we have complied, because now we have got a credentials committee.
Thank you so much for your time. And we also spoke to the spokesperson of Numsa earlier today, and we heard from Numsa where they were saying that they had complied with parts of the judgment and that they are also intending to appeal parts of the judgment. But let's listen to what the Numsa national spokesperson had to say about the Western Cape delegation walking out of the Congress today.
To be honest, I think the agenda here was never about participating. I think the agenda here was to collapse the Congress. Because if this was about participation, they would have stayed. The core of why they went to court was they said they were being denied the right to participate. And they have taken decisions. For example, the basis of their walking out is partly about Mpumalanga. I heard the regional secretary saying that. First of all, Western Cape has no right to speak on behalf of Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga has no problem with being placed under administration. They asked us to do it. So you must question what their true motives are. Surely what he's saying cannot possibly be true.
All right, that was Phakamile Hlubi-Majola, who speaks for Numsa on a national level. And of course, that was a conversation she was having with our senior reporter, Aisha Ismail, about their Congress being disturbed. Now,